Am I the a-hole for leaving my party for beating cancer? I, 35 male, am a very private person. I have no social media, don't want my wife, 32 female, posting photos of me. Although I don't tell her not to, just don't ask her to post me. Celebrating Father's Day or my birthday, I don't like attention on me and prefer to keep things low-key wherever I can. So keep that in mind. I was diagnosed with an extremely curable type of skin cancer. It was caught very early on, and I never felt scared for my life in any way, shape, or form. I am an engineer, and I think analytically, and I wasn't scared with a diagnosed with a 0.03% fatality rate. Still, I told my wife, of course, and she was terrified. We talked through it and told her my doctor was very optimistic and said we have caught it early on, etc. None of it seemed to help, but I tried. After a while, I told her that we shouldn't tell our kids, 5 female and 7 female. My wife wanted to tell them, but I was adamant about that. I'm not even sure they would understand what we're talking about. About a week later, I get a call from my dad asking about my cancer. Turns out my wife posted on Facebook about my cancer that morning. Wait a minute, so he didn't tell his mom and dad and his siblings? I mean, I get being private, but your immediate family is your immediate family. It's something about a cancer, whether it's good or, whether it's like a really bad cancer or just like a normal one that can be cured, happens or not. At the end of the day, you have to tell your family that. What the hell? Anyways, I don't know. I called her and was happy that she posted my business and is behind the "you didn't say I couldn't post it, just not tell the kids" excuse. There is no way she would think I wanted that to be posted online no matter what I said. So she took it down and time went by. Very quickly, I was in remission with my skin cancer, and my doctor told me, word for word, "We don't like to say you're cured, but you're cured." I told my wife, and she was ecstatic. She told me she was worried all this time, I could tell, and glad we put this all behind us. I thought we could put this all behind us too. This weekend, I'm coming home on Friday. I see a lot of cars parked in the street, some in my driveway. I couldn't think of any birthdays or anniversaries I missed, but went in anyway. It was a party for my remission diagnosis. I was mortified at this. She's never done anything like this, and we've talked about how I would hate a surprise party multiple times. I asked what this is for and said, "I'm sorry, but I didn't know you planned this. I'm just coming back for some files and heading back to work." It was a lie. I gathered up some meaningless files in my office and said thanks to everyone for coming and left to go back to my office, messing around on my phone until everyone left. My wife knew I was lying, and we fought that night, and I told her I don't know what's gotten into her. But she knows I would never want this, and she doesn't get to make a big deal out of something personal I've never wanted to be public in the first place. We've been cold this whole week, and my brother said I am the a-hole since I told him I just pretended to go to work. So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to celebrate beating my cancer? He's not really the a-hole. He literally said over and over and over and over and over again that he doesn't want not anybody to know his. If this man didn't tell his own father that he had cancer, do you think he wants everybody else in their moms to know this? Clearly, his wife is in the wrong. No, he's not the a-hole. What do you guys think? Am I the a-hole for exposing my coworker after he exposed me? I, 28 female, have been in a happy, committed throuple. Throuple is like 3 people in a marriage, is it? Or is it 2 people married and then they have like a boyfriend or a girlfriend? How does that even work? Anyways, sorry. I, 28 female, have been in a happy, committed throuple for about 3 years now. It's unconventional, but it works for us. I also enjoy posting on a social media platform that's more on the mature side. Think Facebook. I can't believe Facebook is considered to be mature side now. Oh my god. Anyways, times have flied. But for adults who like to talk about NSFW topics and post about NSFW pictures, my face isn't visible in any of the pictures, and I never talk about my job on there. So I didn't think it would ever be an issue at work, especially because our job doesn't have a morality clause. One of my coworkers, Jake, 34 male, recently found my profile on this site. Jake has always been a bit too friendly, making suggestive comments and flirting with me despite knowing I'm not interested. I've turned him down countless times, but he just doesn't take the hint. He thinks that just because I'm poly, I want to be with him. Instead of keeping his discovery to himself, Jake took screenshots of my post and ran to HR. accusing me of unbecoming internet activity that could damage the company's reputation. I got called into a meeting with HR, and honestly, I was terrified. However, after reviewing the post, HR told me that because my face was invisible and there was nothing identifying the company, it wasn't their concern and was my own personal business. They assured me that no action would be taken against me and that I hadn't violated any policies. My direct boss said that the meeting was more toward me that Jake was sharing my private pictures in the workplace. Even though I was cleared, I still feel humiliated that my private life had been dragged into work like this, and I was beyond angry that Jake tried to get me in trouble over something that had nothing to do with him. Here's where I might be the a-hole. After that HR meeting, I was still fuming. I knew Jake was married and had heard rumors about him cheating on his wife with another woman in the office. I also had a bunch of inappropriate messages he'd sent me, including some sent during work hours, which I hadn't done anything about until now. Instead of going back to HR, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I found Jake's wife on social media and anonymously sent her all the screenshots of his messages to me, along with some information about his affair. I literally found his profile and his mistress' profile on the same site he said was unbecoming and sent her links to both. I figured if he wanted to dig into my private life, he should face the consequences of his own actions. It didn't take long for everything to blow up. Jake's wife confronted him, and now she's filed for divorce. Word spread around the office, and Jake is absolutely furious with me, saying I ruined his marriage. It made his life hell. Some of my coworkers think I went too far and should have just let go, but others believe he got what he deserved for trying to get me in trouble over something that was none of his business. So am I the a-hole? First of all, it's crazy. This is like a classical... I don't want to say... Yeah, it is. Like, when a man wants you or wants something from you and you don't want him, he finds a way to punish you for not wanting him back. Like, because she didn't want him, he went to go punish her and trying to ruin her career. It's very weird. Honestly, what goes through people's minds? Just because you think somebody is doing something that you think to you is suggestive. Like, it's like when women dress a certain way and people like, well, she's dressing like that, so she must want the attention. Or like when women goes to certain places or she's doing certain things, like, well, if something happens to her, then maybe she's obviously asking for it because she's already doing this. Like, trying to suggest that you're asking for it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you guys know, you guys get the gist of it. It's very weird, very strange. And besides, like, how did she ruin his marriage? Him cheating ruined his marriage. Him being a snitch ruined his marriage. Him being a perv and a creep and a weirdo ruined his marriage. If anything, he has no one to blame but his own self. Like, people, it's funny, like, people would do any and everything and then get surprised that the consequences of their own actions comes around and bits them in the butt. Or, like, when they do something crazy to someone and they get shocked because the person stood up for themselves and fought back. Like, what do you want? To be the office bully? Honestly, I hope he gets fired too. Clearly, he's weird.